What's up, guys? Welcome to Shay's World. I am your girl, Shay, and we are back with Traitors Season 3. We're going to do episodes 6 and 7 together. Thought that made a little more sense considering the outcome. Had an inkling suspicion this would happen, so I'm glad we waited. I got tongue tied so quick. That was crazy. Yeah, I can't do these recaps alone, so I have my lovely co-host with me.
Your boy Malik ready to stab some bats
Yes,
and get the traitor. Well,
absolutely.
maybe not in that order. Maybe that's not how that works for real.
um, Episode 6 should have been called Traitors Traitor Edition
Yeah,
because it was more about the traitors, literally, because the
yeah,
traitors are going at it. Episode 5 left off with them going into the turret, and we heard Carolyn saying girl, like she always saying, and we kind of went off on a cliffhanger. This one opens up, we open back right up in the turret, I'm sorry. And Carolyn is pissed and she goes off on Danielle for throwing her name out there. Like, she was so mad. I was so happy to see Carolyn finally just like standing up for herself in that turret against the other traitors.
hmm
Um, that epic for me. It was epic. I was like, come on, Carolyn. What did you think about Danielle using the excuse of saying, well, you didn't immediately tell me about Jeremy? And that's kind of where I started to get my suspicion on you. Like you weren't really with me. That was
What?
her
Jeremy
excuse.
was banished.
They murdered Jeremy.
So then, what is she talking about? She had the choice.
Okay, so Jeremy had told Carolyn first in the episode that he had his suspicions on Danielle and not to trust Danielle, right?
hmm
Well, then he was also in another room and they were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about who they suspected were traitors. And Bob, the drag queen, was in the room and he said Danielle's name. So immediately Bob goes until he went and he told Danielle. So then they all go and Danielle asks Carolyn, has she heard that? And she said, yes, I heard it. So Danielle, I supposedly took that as, oh, Carolyn is not with me, all the way. She is over there with them. And this was episode 1, really. Well, episode 2. And that was Danielle's motivation for killing Jeremy.
Hmm. Well, I think it's a weak excuse. All in all, I mean, in all honesty, I don't even remember that storyline or her connection to Jeremy. Was Jeremy Big Brother or Survivor?
Survivor.
So then, what is Danielle upset about Jeremy being murdered for if they didn't really have a connection for real?
No, no, no. She wasn't upset about him being murdered because she murdered him. She was upset saying that Carolyn didn't immediately come tell her that Jeremy said her name, was saying her name.
Oh, that's weak. Sorry, lady. No, that's not my fault. Like, it's not my duty to come to you when your name is floating and say, "Hey, your name is floating." I mean, yeah, it's a nice thing to do, but it's not like expected. It's like, nah, boo, sorry, no, Danielle.
Um,
I think that because who did they just murder? Jeremy the night before.
no, Jeremy's been gone.
Who did they just murder the night before?
Uh, Bob H.
Oh, I feel like that was a pretty like mutual. I feel like everybody was on
Nope,
the same
nope,
page with
nope.
that.
Not the night before. That's not who they murdered the night before. The night before they murdered. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But what I do know is that These are just the traders are not very cohesive as a group together
At all.
at all.
At all. Like they are completely going at each other. Carolyn says she wants to murder both of them.
Yeah.
Rob's is like, we're not supposed to be going at each other. Now, Danielle does, apologize in the turret and says she's going to make it right the next day. She's like, I'm going to make it right tomorrow. I'm going to make it right.
Oh, because
You
she's been
know,
throwing out Carolyn's name.
hmm And she's like, let's just all start fresh. And from now on, we'll start looking out for each other. This is
Now,
what she
see, I
said.
thought she was doing that because she felt threatened that Rob and Carolyn might have a final, which they kind of did have a final two together. And so I thought that that's why Danielle was throwing out Carolyn's name because she felt threatened by that rather than throw out Rob's name, which I don't know why she didn't do that. She threw
Well,
out
she said
Carolyn's
her
name instead.
plan was to get out Carolyn so that they could recruit another trader and she can get that trader to help her ultimately get Rob out. That was her plan. So that was the reason why she started throwing out Carolyn's name.
Huh. It's not a great plan.
No. Instead of just teaming up with Carolyn to
To
take out
get,
Rob. Didn't make
but
sense.
I think that she just doesn't like Carolyn as a trader
Hmm
to work with.
Yeah, I'm sensing she doesn't really care for. I don't know if I'm not going to say it's not that she like her. She doesn't trust Carolyn though. None of them
Mm-hmm.
trust each other by far. Her
Mm.
A1 day one was Boston Rob, and
Who's A1 Day One?
Danielle's A1 day one was Bob the drag queen. She
Mm-hmm.
trusted Bob the drag queen.
Mm-hmm. And when
So,
Rob got him out, it
hmm
was lights out for all the traders. That was the immediate. So when am I skipping ahead when I think about this conversation
what conversation?
of Danielle confronting Rob and saying all of this started because of you, basically?
No, no, no. This is was this that was this time in the turret. It was that time in the turret because he defends why he wanted to get rid of he outed Bob the drag queen because in his
Mm-hmm.
mind, regardless of the fact if it was three of us, you came for me. And if you don't know Boston Rob's gameplay style, if you come for you're either with him or against him,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. So, um, they end up agreeing to, well, they didn't necessarily agree to murder Bob H, but Bob H was the choice because at the round table, the last round table, oh my gosh, this is not a modeling session, sir. This is a podcast
But do you
recap.
but do you
Oh
see
my gosh, he's so vain.
the skin?
Baby, they see you. They see you every time they cut on this video.
But this is a new angle for the people. So y'all, I'm on my phone and I have it right in front of the window. The sun is kissing my skin, my forehead, and my cheek. It's just, anyways. Granted, I hate this angle, but anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just saw myself.
Anywho, back to traders. Um,
What were we talking
Danielle didn't
about
really want to murder Bob H, but they murdered Bob H because he had on the previous episode when they were at the round table. Bob H definitely came for Rob. He was like it would be definitely a brilliant plan if he really is a traitor. So they murdered Bob H. At breakfast.
mm,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So at breakfast, Derek has come to the conclusion that if Rob comes into the round, into breakfast, he is for sure a traitor. Tom thinks it's Dolores. I'm like, where the hell is that coming from? But okay, Tom Sandoval. Um,
Tom just shoots duds. That's all.
hmm,
I said Tom just shoots duds. That's
yeah,
all.
he does. He definitely does. Before they go to the mission, I think Derek. This is when Derek go ahead and tells Wes like it's time to go ahead and pull the trigger. Like Rob is for sure a traitor, and it is time to pull the trigger on him. And at first, West is like, if you got the votes, no, first West is like, but how are you sure that he's a traitor? Are you sure he's a traitor or whatever? And Derek lays out his argument, and West is like, well, if you can get the votes, what I'm saying, I'll rock with you or whatever. Boom. That's that. They go to their mission that day. They have to blow up this giant traitor statue.
Oh yeah.
Basically, they're gonna split up in groups and try to win $30,000. They have to run in the woods, unlock these puzzle boxes, solve a puzzle, unlock the box. If they get it right, they get gunpowder, they can run it back. But there's also a shield in each section. Of course, you have to solve a puzzle. I don't remember all of the groups. It's really not necessary. This episode is really more so. I prefer to focus on the freaking round table and the turret because that was really where all of the good happened on episode 6 of Traitors. But I do remember that when they went to the boxes, whatever group Carolyn was in, as soon as they opened that box, she grabbed that sucker. And then there was another group that played rock, paper, scissors, and I think Chriselle ended up with it because she beat Dylan. What were you going to say?
No, I was just putting up 5 fingers because I thought we were talking about episode 5, but I've been wrong before.
No, it's episode 6.
Okay. Oh, really?
And it's in the title.
That's insane. I literally thought that I just watched episode 6, but I just watched episode 7.
We
Again,
just did
I don't know how to
episode
count.
5 and put it out not too long ago, though.
Yeah.
We were late.
I was never a math major, please.
All right. So, we really don't know if they actually made it back in time or if they actually had enough gunpowder. Didn't really look like they was going to have enough gunpowder, but they blew it up. They win $30,000. They go back to the
Oh, I was
house.
gonna say, doesn't that mean that they had enough then?
Yeah. It blew up, but I think they
Okay.
just, I don't know. It's
They
always
really
a
wanted it.
gimmick, and because I've heard the people from the show say like, yeah, those times are whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Just there
really?
for the show purposes, kind of a little.
Oh, really?
Like they
I don't
always
know
run
though.
over.
I feel like they would have. They like definitely could have like not made it, and like if they didn't do it in time, then it wouldn't have toppled. I feel like traders isn't necessarily like yeah they want people to make the money, but I don't think that they would rig the game in order for the team to make more money. I feel like if they didn't make it, then they wouldn't have made it. Because traders seems like you said, huh?
I said okay.
Oh, okay.
I just said okay.
I mean, that's just my perspective. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I can understand 100% why you're saying that or feel that way. Because of the production and all of that, like you don't think they would actually do that. But when I've heard people that were there say it's
See, okay,
Carolyn's
give
luck.
me. I mean, what do you
So
mean?
let's go back to season 2 where they had the barrel roll challenge, and it was
Mm,
like they had 1 second to really, you know what I'm saying, roll it over. No. It's always you have 5 minutes players, and then they're still scrambling to grab stuff and still make it all the way over hills and stuff. Like it's not a true 5 minutes left. Like
mm,
there's been a couple of challenges that specifically they have said like, you know, no. Because there was one challenge that they did on season 2. It was where they were in the chat in the church and they had the little bow and arrow thing and they were hitting down each other's faces.
place, yeah.
Yeah, they had to stop the whole game because they were so bad, and Alan had to kind of give them a hint of how to use the little machine.
Mm.
So if they only had 30 minutes, come on,
But
like
then 10 minutes in, he's like, "Hold on, y'all, hold
mhm, yeah,
on." Okay.
stuff like that.
Mm.
Which I'm sure if that was, they reset some stuff and so that's what I mean, like, because this really did not look like they had even. It's not that it doesn't look like they got 15 pounds of freaking gunpowder like
And they got
that
all the
quick,
shields
and
at
they
the same
spent that
time.
much time going to get shields.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's all. Um, Anywho, back at the house, Rob is putting the pause on, trying to flip for No. Yeah, Rob is working on Wes back at the house, and Rob is working on Wes. He's talking to different groups. Really, the people that he have like assembled around him that he know is with him. That's your Gabby, or at least he thinks is Gabby. That's Dylan and think Ivor and a couple. It's a couple more people. Sierra's one of those people. Possibly Dolores a little bit. So like those people, he's talking to those type of people. He does go and tell Danielle and Carolyn, that it's what he's doing West and he's hearing West. So they're they know that he's coming for West. They can't get back to the turret and say they don't know because he did go tell them a little bit. Also, Derek is at this point he is around the house floating Rob. So he goes up to Ivar and he's like, "I hope I have your support tonight. I'm going to bring up, somebody that you've already brought up." And Ivar don't even remember who the hell he's talking about. And it's like, "Oh, Boston Rob."
He's like,
Yes.
oh, okay, all right. Um, who did I mention at the round table last night?
Come on, Paw Paw.
Oh,
Come on,
all
Paw
right.
Paw. Anywho, he
Good old
tells
faithful.
Brittany, no, Wes tells Brittany the plan about, no, Derek tells Brittany about the plan to get rid of Rob that night. Like, Rob is coming up, but he doesn't tell Brittany necessarily that he is the spearhead of this plan. So then she goes and talks to Wes about it, and Wes basically tells her, like, Derek is spearheading this, yeah, like it's Derek and I'm going to back him up. Like I have evidence to support him. I have the supporting facts. He has the main case. So now Brittany is suspicious because Derek's lied to her. So she's going into the round table a little pissed with Derek. I'm saying all of this because we're going to come back to Derek and Brittany after the round table. So, anywho, it does get back to Rob that his name is floating around. I can't remember who it was. It was either Chriselle or Gabby, and him and Danielle were eating, and they tell him the plan, and then they get up and walk away. And he asks Danielle, like, "Is this true?" And the way she responded, I hope he knew she was lying because her response was so. I'm hearing West. I'm hearing West. Like, girl, you look like you lying. It's written all over your face.
She's not a great liar. I
At
really
all.
don't know how people don't really pick up on that, but I mean, Danielle's also kind of a quiet person at the same time.
Hmm.
So
That's
I feel
true.
like
But
they just
Rob
kind
is a
of blend her.
psychology major
Hmm.
and he studies people. So he could tell. That's why he does those intense. I believe that's why he does those intense ass Rob stares when he's talking to people so that they can see if they'll break. You know what I'm saying?
Very
Like,
perverty. Very.
yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Very, very.
I want to see them have a stare off, a
Ooh.
stare down.
Now they have gone for each other. They used to go for each other on the
I want
island.
Survivor.
They always went. They were always against each other up until the very last season, season 40. All right. So now we're at the round table, and Dolores decides to start it off because earlier in the day or the day before, Wes had told her that Tom. No, that night, Wes had told her that Tom was throwing out her name. So she comes guns blazing at Tom, and she was like, "What was that thing Bob said? If you're not a traitor, you're a what?
A what faithful? Bad.
Bad, bad faithful. You're bad faithful."
So help me out, round table. You're a what faithful? BAD. That's right. Thank you. 3 letters. Hello.
Derek's like, wait, hold on. Before you go, y'all go off the rails and go back and forth. We need to talk about Rob. And
Mm,
he lays out this entire case for Rob, and Rob defends himself.
very
He
well.
always does.
Flipped.
Did not know where he was going because he says Danielle's name, he says Carolyn's name, he throws somebody else's name out there, and then he says Wes. And then basically he accuses Wes of being the master of chaos, and Wes comes back. Wes had a good argument for why it could be Rob. Where Wes went wrong at is Wes went west. He went west. And he decides to threaten the people during his speech.
But see, I feel like it wouldn't be that bad if Wes already going into the round table hadn't rubbed people the wrong way because he's just naturally a butthole when he's in the game.
I don't even think he was being a butthole because from what we saw, he wasn't necessarily being a butthole.
You're right.
Since it's been a week since this episode has aired, I have gotten a chance to see Wes's interview with Bananas. Well, not interview. They reviewed that particular episode together. And he said that only reason he can think that Chriselle said he was aggressive was because when they was getting ready to go, they don't really, although we think they have a lot of time, they said it's really not a lot of time when they come back from the missions. They have time to eat, and then they have time to scramble, and then at some point production tells them to be quiet. They have to be quiet and they can't talk game. And then they go, they shoot the shot of them all walking to the round table, and then they go to the round table. And when they're in there, they can't start speaking until Alan says, the floor is yours. So they really don't have a lot of time. So he said he was talking to Chriselle, asking her about, who are you thinking? What are you, doing? And she wasn't really answering the questions. So he was just like, we don't have a lot of time. Come on, So he just kept asking her follow up after follow up question. So for somebody that doesn't play these type of games, you would see that as aggressive. So, you know that's just a little backside insight for those who maybe have not seen that, that episode. It was a really good episode. So if you have not seen it, go check it out on the Death Texas and Banana podcast on YouTube.
Death Texas, you can't escape Death
Death
Texas
Texas and
and Bananas. That is funny. That's
Death
good.
Texas and Bananas.
That's very good.
Yeah. So anywho, Carolyn then comes up and is just like, wait a minute. I know I'm emotional. My entire life, I have been the odd girl out. But Wes is right now being used as a scapegoat and being called the agent of chaos. But Danielle, you are the agent of chaos. And I was looking at my screen like, well, I'll be. I'll be. Because where that come from, Carolyn? But kudos, mama. Kudos, mama.
Well, we know where it came from, but I'm not giving her kudos. Don't do this at the round table. If you have a problem with your fellow trader, wait to the gauntlet. Which, I mean...
The gauntlet? This isn't the challenge. You mean the turret?
Same difference. Which she did, however... I guess she felt as though after that conversation, when she still heard her name. But here's the thing. Do you think that Danielle was continuing to throw Carolyn's name out throughout this episode? Or do you think that she wasn't necessarily doing housekeeping?
Okay. I'm glad you said that because I forgot to bring up this point that Brittany goes up to Carolyn and say, hey, I heard you said my name. And Carolyn defends herself. Well, she does this dramatic thing. She automatically knows this. I thought she was like, what are you choking?
No, I would never. Like she was drinking something and she spit it out. I'm like, lady, what? Drink your juice real quick and then gag. Like, what? She was gagging horribly.
When they were at the challenge, then mind you, the night before, Dylan had told her that Danielle floated her name. And then when they were at the challenge, Gabby went ahead and told her that Danielle said her name. So I don't know if it was, I think because she don't know when these things happen. You know what I'm saying? She don't know when Danielle. She heard her name before the night before from Dylan. And then the next day she hears two more people tell her. And then who's to say somebody else in the house didn't tell her and they just didn't show us? We heard, so she probably is like, I don't, what the hell? I'm still hearing these things. I don't know how many people you told. and I'm not having it, and she's just not having it. She's not having it.
Um, don't have it. No shade. I'm on her side. At first, when she did this, I was like, "Why would she do this? Don't do this at the round table, girl." But in all honesty, A, it kind of works, and B, it didn't work the first time. So if she's like, "Girl, I tried to call you on the tour and it didn't work, and you still got my name going out here," I'm coming for you in front of everybody. So
Every-
yeah, I see that, and it kind of played in her favor, as you know, everybody sees her as an emotional player who's kind of like scatterbrained, anyways. So her kind of falling apart in this moment, kind of good for her game. Excuse me.
That too, and then I think it would be a little sus if that many people, although they're like, we know you're not a traitor, everybody that she talks to that's told her that, I think it still would be a little suspect eventually if Carolyn has never, her name has been floating out there and she's never taken the time to address it,
Hmm.
because you don't know how many other people she said it to. So I don't know. I think it was a pretty
Bold.
bold move. Great television move. Don't know how it's going to really play out in the end, but it saved Rob. I'll say that.
It did save Rob,
Save Rob.
much to my dismay in the moment.
So, West goes in a 6-5 vote to Rob, nonetheless. Now, Rob just barely skated by. Just barely skates by at this round table now.
Crazy.
Great.
Crazy. Who was
Mm-hmm.
it? Who was it that saved him?
Um,
Dylan, Tom, Brittany.
Dylan Dylan threw a vote. Dolores voted Tom. Um,
And I'm not
so
gonna lie, if I was,
Brittany,
I'm kind of
Brittany
mad
saved
that,
him. Brittany saved him.
and Carolyn. Let me be
Yeah.
so honest. The Traitors too. No, 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 no. Danielle voted for Rob. Carolyn should have put her emotions to the side, even though she did call out Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in Carolyn's shoes, I would have called out Danielle, been like, "Girl, blah 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 blah," just to scare her, I guess, a little bit. But taking into account how everybody is feeling in this moment about Rob, it is kind of a 50-50 with between Rob and West. But I would have taken that chance
You would have
because
taken
if
the
I'm,
chance and,
I
and
would
went
have
with
taken that
Rob.
chance. Yeah, because I want him out the turret. If I'm a traitor, I want him out the turret. The traitors do not trust him. I don't want you in
Understood.
there. And if I see my opportunity that everybody is taking, everybody's low key gunning, I'm gonna take that chance. I can deal with you, if I got to.
So let's say Carolyn voted for Rob. They would
And
have been
Rob,
tied. It would have been a tie. We've never had a
what
tie, so
happens
we
at a
don't know what
tie?
happened. We've never had a tie, so we don't know what would have happened.
They would have to do a revote.
It
I feel
probably
like there was a
just
tie.
vote for Wes or Rob. But here's the thing: you got to be careful when you swing on Rob because if they swing
And you
and
miss, he's coming for you.
he's coming for you. You know what I'm saying? Also, what was I going to ask you? Dang, you had said something, and I had a good question to ask you. I forgot.
About
Whatever.
what, the round table or the turret? The traitors or the faithfuls?
The round table.
What I said, it was 6-5. Everybody was voting West, but I would have taken a chance on Rob if I was Carolyn.
Oh yeah. So, but you don't think that would have looked suspicious on Carolyn if she made this big old stink at the round table about Danielle, and then she turns around and vote for Rob?
Well, I would have prefaced with the only reason I'm doing this is I'm going with maybe the house, but I would have just been like, I know nobody's going to vote for you, Danielle, because I can't gather any evidence against you, but just know I'm keeping my eye on you. I do think Rob, you're a traitor. Like
Right.
I
So
would have
then,
left him like
okay.
that.
So let me ask a follow up question to that. And then in the event that Rob was um voted out, he was banished, and he got up there and said he was a traitor. Regardless of that, you don't think people would have started putting their eyes on Carolyn a little bit?
Maybe, but not really because um after me personally, after hearing all of this evidence, which is quite damning against Rob,
Mm-hmm.
it's too solid to me. It's too solid and I would just play, even though I know for a fact that Rob is a traitor. I would be like, after hearing all of these Derek and Wes's points, they are extremely solid to me, and I don't think that I can overlook that. I don't think I can overlook these details. So, Rob, I have to vote for you only because the evidence is just way too strong against you, and it's not strong enough against Danielle. I don't know if she's a traitor or not, but she's throwing my name out there, and I feel betrayed because I trusted her and I thought she trusted me. So I don't like you, Danielle, but I'm not voting for you because I just don't know if you're a traitor or not just yet. But Rob, there's all this evidence and all these people are stacking it against you, and it's good points. I think you're a traitor. It's
Okay,
too.
faithful.
It's too. You
Okay,
or
I see
traitor in
you, faithful.
disguise.
I see you.
You okay? Put me in the show. Put me in the show.
Well, Wes gets up there and he gives this lovely speech, and he says, "Since I'm, from the beginning, I wanted to be a traitor, because I don't care about any of you, and I would have murdered all of you. I am a faithful." Oh no, he also told them quantumly, I have been on more reality shows on reality TV than all of you combined. And aggressive is how you win these shows. And I mean, he just, he went off. I think he thought he was in House of Villains for a minute. Thought he was in the villain house or something.
I think he was just giving great television.
Amazing television.
As he
Amazing
does,
television. And then he flips them off and walks out.
and cusses him out.
Tells them I'm a faithful, and he walks out. And
Go Wes. I mean, I hate to see him go, but I love,
the way he went.
yes,
Mhm.
truly, in true Wes fashion. Yeah, I wish he stayed in the house though.
All right. So at the end of the episode, before they go back, to their rooms, the hotel, before they do all of that, and in the night, Brittany goes in and she pulls Derek to the side. She's like, "Hey, let me holler at you for a minute." And she goes off on him. She's just like, "You
She said,
shady."
"Can I yell at you?" I wish somebody would come to me in front of everybody talking about, "Can I yell at you for a second?" No, you cannot. You can talk to me like a grown man. I mean, a grown woman. But you cannot. No, are you kidding me? But maybe that's that Big Brother stuff that they like to look cool off or whatever. But girl,
Mhm,
no, you can't. You pull me to the side and yell at me. Granted, she didn't. She was just saying that. That's
mhm.
just how they talk to each other. But girl, no.
Ultimately, they leave their conversation with both of them thinking the other person is a traitor. Um, he basically tells her to her face, "The reason I did not tell you that I was leading the charge with Boston Rob is because you've been hanging out with him lately, and I don't know, maybe you're a traitor right along with him." And it's just like, wow.
Mind you, at the when right when they were about to vote, Dylan was on edge between Wes and Rob, and Derek is trying to say, "Dylan,
Yeah,
vote
I
Rob,"
forgot about
and
that.
Brittany's like, "Dylan,
No, no, no.
Dylan,"
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
like she his mama. That was
That
funny.
was
That was
great
very
TV
funny.
too.
That was very funny.
So after that, he walks off and he goes and he grabs Dylan, which is basically like our Peter from season 2. Like Dylan is the most faithful of the faithfuls, kind of sort of type
Loki.
character.
I don't know. I see Ivor as Peter, but I also see Dylan as that
Hmm.
too.
I can see that too. I can see Ivor too. Um, However, Ivor doesn't necessarily wrangle the votes. You know what I'm saying? Lead the conversations.
Mm,
Dylan doesn't have a problem leading the conversations. Well, he didn't have a problem really leading the conversations up until Boston Rob came in the house, because now he really gave everybody his ass to kiss. His fave is in the house. Like,
girl.
you could tell he's excited to play with Boston Rob after
Yeah.
watching him on TV for all of this time. And you know what? It's for me, it's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
It's not, but then that begins to cloud your judgment, and you see
It
he was on the
does,
fence. He could have
but
voted Rob, but I think that he Rob is his ally,
it's true.
but Rob is also a traitor, and I think Dylan knew that with all the evidence that Wes, Derek, and everybody else was bringing together, even Dylan himself, he's a smart person. He knows that Rob has to be a traitor. but I think he was ignoring that fact. I
Yeah,
really do.
because if he's a traitor and I'm on his side, he's gonna not murder me.
Very true. But
Uh,
then, I mean, do you really think that Dylan is thinking like that? Because I
yes.
mean, well, I mean, he's a
At this point,
faithful.
they know
He's
the
also trying
structure
to do
of the
that.
game. So you know you still have a chance. If you take Rob to the end, you have a chance to get rid of him. You don't have to end the game. You can keep banishing until y'all banish him.
Mm.
And that way,
Yeah,
when you do end the game, you can end the game with faithfuls. At least that would be my strategy with Boston Rob. I would be worried about uncovering the other ones because if I know you're a traitor, all right, cool. You can go to the end with me, but I'm not gonna end this game. But I need to know who the other counterparts are. At
right.
least for me, once I figure out that I know this person's a traitor, like there's no way possible. All right, cool. We cool. I just don't want to get murdered. Just let me make it to the end. Now,
Hello.
if I make it to the end and I get banished, that's a totally different story. But let me make it to the end. And by the end, I mean the end,
The final
where the money
episode.
is sitting over there on the table.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, Derek goes and tells Dylan that, hey, listen, Rob is definitely a traitor, but Brittany for sure is a traitor right along with his ass. And I I kind of wish he didn't tell that to Dylan, but I'm kind of okay with him telling that to Dylan if that makes sense. And I'll say once we get to episode 7, I'll say why I kind of wish he didn't say this just a little bit. If I'm being on my side, faithful side, then I kind of wish he didn't tell Dylan that. I wish maybe he'd have told that to somebody else, maybe Ivor or Dolores. Maybe not Dolores. Maybe Ivor
Or
or
Gabby.
Gabby. Yeah, yeah. Anywho, so they go back into the turret, and baby Danielle is pissed. She don't care about nothing that they do. She don't care who they murder. She does not care.
I
She
couldn't care
wants
less.
blood.
Kaylin said, "Who do y'all want to kill?" I couldn't care less.
Like I could give a shit. She did not give two
I
shit.
mean, in all honesty, that's how I would have been at the last turret too. Like, girl, I don't care. Obviously, I'm not the one. You know, obviously, you're in control. Boston Rob. But what would you like to do?
You're so silly. But baby, when her and Carolyn start going at each other,
Oh, it's
Carolyn was like, "Baby,
nasty.
I am coming for you." And then she said, "Well, you can come, but I'm not gonna
But
just
I'm
sit
gonna
down
come
and take it.
harder.
I'm coming back." And Carolyn was like, "You have nothing on me, boo."
Oh, I have everything on you.
Lies,
Last.
lies. Yeah, you have lies on me, so let's go.
Oh yeah. So when Carolyn brings that up and says, "What Brittany said that you Brittany told me that you said I said her name." Danielle says, "Well, you did here in the turret." Right.
Carolyn goes, "Yeah, right. Come on, girl.
Oh my
So yeah, you told her that I
god.
brought up her name in the turret. Like, come on,
Come
girl."
on, he said. Rob was like, Danielle. That was
Rob was like,
crazy.
"This is
This
crazy."
is
He's like,
nasty work.
"Carolyn, you vote for Danielle. Danielle, you vote for me." Like, I thought just last episode we were supposed to be looking after each other. Like, come, what is really going on here?
But then after last episode, I feel like whatever they talked about wasn't necessarily fully resolved.
No,
Um because I feel like they put it out there. But I feel like Carolyn was like, "You're bringing up my name," and then it was like, and she's like, "You need to fix it." And then it's like, "Okay, I'll fix it," and that's just that. Like, nah,
well,
there was
no.
no real
Danielle did say
resolution.
like, "Hey, let's all put the past in the past and let's just agree to work with each other and move forward." That's how they started the episode. And
Mm.
by the end of the episode, we are all in here going after each other. And the episode goes off with Rob saying, "This is a disaster."
This is a disaster.
Disaster. And so episode 7 opens right where we are. And They decide to finally start talking about the murder. So they talk about the shields. Carolyn reveals she has a shield. Rob does not want to reveal who has a shield in his group. And we're not going to spend much time on this, but I do want to ask two questions, two like what you think type of questions. So Rob doesn't want to. Danielle says, well, may I ask, she's asking like, well, why don't you want to reveal? And he's like, there's no trust here, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But I'm personally thinking he didn't want to reveal because Dylan was in his group and Dylan didn't get that shield. So I think he was trying to protect Dylan. Do you think that?
That's a possibility. That
Okay.
could be a very huge possibility.
All right. So,
I yeah, that can be literally the only reason because when he said that, I was like, I mean, I guess, but like, girl, just tell her. This is not that big of a deal. But that's a good point. I didn't think about it till just now.
okay. So then Carolyn suggests Sam. They don't want to murder Sam. So then Rob suggests Dylan, right?
Yes.
And everybody says no. So here's my thought on and my take on that. He's threw that out there so that they can say too out their mouth that they didn't want to murder Dylan and why they didn't want to murder Dylan, so they couldn't be like, well, maybe you're trying to protect Dylan, and it could be we all have something to benefit from Dylan.
Right.
He has the most to benefit from keeping Dylan.
Oh my God, that would be a nasty mind game. It would be the ultimate mind game, but it would work for Rob. It would fit for him.
Um, they can't figure out. They do not come to now. Rob does throw out Derek, and Danielle just she done lost it because she just not want to murder Derek. But as we already
I don't
said earlier,
know. I don't know why she wasn't like, that's a bad game move on your part. That would have been my defense for
but she
keeping
said it was
Derek.
a bad game move for her. She made it seem like
Yes,
it was gonna
yeah.
push on her.
Like, girl, Rob doesn't care about your game. He cares about his own game. So flip it and say that's a bad. If you kill somebody who just came for you, eyes will be on you. And I don't know if you can flip that. This is going to be your third time in a week, really fourth time in general, going for somebody. And
Only one of them
after
was
they came for
Traitor,
you,
but it's
um,
definitely after they came for you. Somebody come for you, they either end up murdered or you throwing them up for banishment.
so it's like I would have definitely pointed that out to him and made him reconsider that. But I don't know if he really would have truly cared, to be honest.
No, I don't think he would have either. I think he was like, I got to take my shot and I got to take it now because if
And he
I
was
let
like, "Let me get my revenge. Let me get revenge. You already got your revenge. Go sit down somewhere. God damn it."
I know, right? So we go to breakfast not knowing honestly who they murdered. So
I didn't think there was going to be one,
you know what? I actually was thinking that too because Rob did the whole confessional like, well, what happens when traders can't make a decision?
and I was listening for the producer. I'm like, "What?
Hello, can we get an answer here? Can we get
What
an answer,
happened? Hello,
please?
like, answer
Can we
me."
get an answer, please? Anyway, anywho, needless to say, Derek ends up murdered, and Danielle. This time, I think her tears were actually real.
Oh
I think she
yeah.
really didn't want to. However, this time was the time where I think she should have tried to dial back her tears. Because, like, man, why are you this upset unless you the one killed him?
Well, excuse me. They were both in Big Brother, so
I
I thought.
understand.
I guess if I was there, I would have been like, "Oh, that was her Big Brother guy." Like maybe they were like A1s or something. I don't know if I would have really. I don't know how I would have looked at that, to be honest.
Well, a couple of the ladies, because her name does come up. Of course, they drop it again, but her name did come up in one of the rooms, and they were like, she's crying like he's her husband. Like
Mm.
somebody
I
said,
mean, he came
somebody
in.
said Derek is not dead. Like he's not dead for real.
Okay, she
So
came in. She came into the breakfast like mood is over. Mood is. I don't
mhm.
want to talk to nobody.
I don't know how nobody clocked her this episode.
Yeah,
Or if they did, I wonder if like they clocked her and was like, well, we got bigger fish to fry, maybe. We'll see how the day goes.
I think
And
her. I
they're
think her
gonna
name
bring
is
her up.
definitely going to come back.
You think so?
I definitely think so.
All right. Well, after breakfast,
I would
Dylan
at least be like, I am having a
immediately
bad day.
after breakfast, Dylan immediately goes and takes her out to the side and tells him about the conversation with Derek the night before, which was, "I'm gonna get murdered. If I get murdered, I'm probably gonna get murdered, and if I get murdered, Rob's gonna come in and try to spin it as if somebody else did it or whatever." But
He's
he
going to
also
say,
told him,
what was you going to say? What was you going to say?
I was gonna say he also threw Brittany name out there. What did you say?
That Derek verbatim said what you just said. It said he's probably going to be like, they're trying to pin it on me. They're trying to frame me.
Hmm.
Did he not say those exact?
He literally said those. I was like, ding, ding, ding,
Dylan,
ding, ding,
Dylan
Dylan.
Efron, if you don't look at these freaking clues
The writing is on the wall, baby. The
in
writing is on the
blood
wall.
on a white wall,
So, but now the reason why I said earlier in the recap, I was like, I wish Derek wouldn't have said that to Dylan, is because when Dylan took that back by him saying, bringing up Brittany's name, that's where Rob got his ammo to go after
mm,
Brittany this episode. So, if you guys can't tell, we're on episode 7. So now Rob is plotting to take out Brittany, and that's that. So they go to their mission for the day, and this is the mission of all missions for every episode, every season. Now, do you like the way they did it this season versus the other 2 seasons?
the other two seasons I can't quite remember, so I'm gonna say yes. I just remember last season they were in a house and they had to go into rooms with a bunch of creepy bugs or whatever.
Yes. So it's typically the cabin. It's typically always the cabin. First season, they had 2 partners on the inside actually getting all the stuff thrown at them while they had to find some combinations, and 2 were outside of the cabin trying to hear them. I mean, it was in the cabin, but outside the main room, throwing stuff on them. So they had a support partner. Set last season, you had a bunch of people inside the house in the cabin. Things were being thrown on them, the lights, and but they had to share the lights, and then other people had to go down in the tunnels to get the money, and then there was a shield down there. So I do think last season's was much harder than the way they did it this season. Like, you got to have a support partner during the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
I did
although,
like the challenge.
yeah,
I don't know how well I would have done.
I would have done good up until the snake.
You would have like no 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 because that's 2 minutes left. At that point, you have to keep going. Otherwise, you just let your partner down
Nope.
fully.
I would have left at the snake, or if anything felt like a spider on me. Done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they
Done.
put the scorpion in, I was like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
But this scorpion doesn't have the tail, so it's like, I guess. But I don't
Yeah, actually,
know.
I think I'd have been done at the scorpion. I changed my mind. I'd have been done at the scorpion.
Who would you have wanted to be your partner?
Rob
Well, okay. I guess in
or
hindsight,
Brittany.
who would do you? But you don't really know what the challenge. If you didn't know what the challenge was because they didn't know what the challenge was, who would you? Who do you think you would have chosen?
Rob.
For real?
Hmm.
I might choose Rob. I may choose Carolyn or Dylan or Sam because they feel very well rounded. I don't know if it's a physical challenge or a mental challenge.
Hmm.
So if it's physical, they're stronger players. If it's mental, they're still pretty up there, so they could like motivate or whatever. They could, help me out. So, but I definitely think Rob was the best partner to have in this competition for sure.
Hmm. So they throw centipedes on them. They got oh, centipedes, cockroaches.
I think it was a. I know you may not care. I think it was a millipede.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty.
millipede. You're
Okay,
right.
okay,
You're
okay,
right. You're
okay.
right. Millipede. No, I would like to be correct. I don't want to just be, saying,
Well, I mean, centipede, millipede, almost tomato, tomato, but there is a
that thing
centipede.
was huge,
It was oh,
super huge. So I don't even know where I got centipede from.
what?
I probably would have freaked the same way. Who was that freaked out? Dolores was paired
All of them?
with
Oh, immediately.
immediately, 15
Gabby.
seconds in, Dolores and Gabby.
Immediately, mind you, Dolores is like, I have the best partner.
Hmm.
Going into the challenge, she said, I have the best partner. And then Gabby let go within 15 seconds, and Dolores is like, I did not get the best partner.
No, 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 no. Dolores had Chriselle as a partner.
Chriselle, my bad. Yeah,
Because Carolyn had Gabby as a partner because she wanted to hold on to Gabby. She wanted to get a shield because she wanted to keep Gabby safe from Danielle.
death, death, murder.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was for my bad. You're right. It was Chriselle. Because I was like, Chriselle.
Yeah.
Were they
14.
the only ones that let go, though?
Yes.
Oh, they were the only
Everybody
ones that
else
let
made
go.
it all the way to the end. So because Chriselle and what you call left, Danielle, Rob and Sierra got a shield. Everybody
I'm not
else,
gonna lie. I think those two. I think those should be the two that are up for death or for murder. I'm not gonna
who
lie.
them two, Dolores
And
and
Chriselle, with the focus on
Michelle.
Chriselle for letting go and making me lose that money, you have to get murdered. I'm sorry, no.
Well, with the speech that Dolores gave, I don't know if she's gonna make it out of this.
The
If she,
speech.
the speech that she gave at the end, she was like, "I am coming for you all." Mm-hmm. So I don't know. The last person that was just so boisterous about coming for them directly got murdered. So I don't know how this is gonna pan out for our good friend Dolores, but I would hate to see her go because she is starting to come into her own. So actually, everybody that's left, with kind of the exception of Sam, Tom, and Ivar, are really coming into their own. But actually, I think after this episode, Tom is going to come more into his own a little bit more. So really, we can let go of Sam and Ivar, and I would be okay.
In all honesty, Tom's already in his own, but he's just too.
He was so far left, like that.
Yeah, he's just always too
Everybody's
wrong.
confessionals about him are always like, somebody, I remember one of these episodes, somebody was like, it's not even 12 o'clock yet, and we are already on name 35.
Yeah, he's got theories coming out the wazoo.
He
Like,
just sits up and theorizes.
so he's definitely playing the game. He's just playing a little too tough. He's not taking a break.
Too tough and too wrong. Loud
Too
and wrong. Anywho, um,
bad and boisterous. Nah.
let's see. Sam and Ivar, however, they do win a shield. And
Oh
then who
yeah, they
was
went in
another
sudden
team
death.
that won the shield?
Kevin. No, no,
Danielle
no, Danielle.
Danielle and Brittany win a shield. So now we got two traitors that have won a shield. So we really only have four people that can get murdered.
Who? Rob has a shield.
Robin and Sierra had a shield.
Oh,
They won. Chriselle is up for murder, is on the short list for murder. Dolores is on the short list. Dylan is on the short list.
and
Tom
Tom.
Sandoval is on the short list.
Do you really
Carolyn,
think?
which is not good. So Carolyn is not going to be murdered. She can't murder herself. And then Gabby.
Do you really think that Rob was born on? Is he actually born on Christmas Day, on
I
December
think that is
25th?
his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Like the
When
way
he
he
said that, I
coached
was like,
the man, it was like the way he coached Sierra through that. It was like, no, talk to me. He just started firing off questions. He knew what needed to be done to keep her there. Like he was not going to let her hand go. I think that girl could have been all the way down on the ground, and
no,
Rob was going
like,
to be pulling her back
give
in the
me
damn
your
thing.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
When is your
Because he know he
birthday?
needed a shield. He needs a shield because if he makes it through the banishment and he's still there the next day, everybody knows he's a traitor. But if I have a shield, I can say, well, they couldn't murder me.
Very smart.
He knows what he's doing.
I was a
Um,
trader. I'd be trying to get a shield every
every
single
single time.
week.
I wouldn't care if I've never heard my name. I would like to sleep
I need
peacefully
a
at night.
shield. Call me selfish if you want. I don't care. I don't want to die,
Straight
but I
like
will kill
Janelle from
you.
season 2. You would be just like Janelle. Um,
I don't even know who that is. I do not remember Janelle.
she
She was
was
a
in.
trader.
She wasn't there. No, she wasn't a traitor.
Oh.
But she's from Big Brother. And the very first episode, very first challenge, she got her untied herself first, and she immediately went to get a shield. Immediately, didn't
Give
try to
me
help
that.
untie nobody else. Nothing. Went and got the
Sorry.
shield. So,
Sorry. And they, I'm sure they called her selfish for it.
oh, absolutely, they
I
called her all
am.
types of selfish and everything.
Nasties.
Hmm.
I don't care. I am selfish and nasty. Now give me the shield because I'm alive
Thank you. You can continue talking your talk, but I'm still here, baby.
from beyond the grave.
Anywho, so that was the challenge. They go back to the house, and honestly, I do not remember all of the side conversations that they had when they got back to the house. I think Rob
Also,
is still working Brittany.
the outfits were amazing. That's all I'm saying. Ellen looked great, and so did the competitors. Best challenge ever. Sorry. Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Fashions were fashioning this episode, especially the last scene, the outfits that everybody had on when they went into the
those are
church.
the same ones though.
They were the same ones from the earlier.
I feel like I'm pretty
Maybe I didn't pay
sure.
attention to them as well then. I paid more attention to them when they did, of course, because they did the solo shots.
Mm.
Anyway, um, do you remember anything about the conversation? Any conversations before we go to the round table?
Yes. One specifically is Dylan and Rob talking about Derek's accusation against Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom kind of like falls into the conversation a little bit. He's like, okay, and he kind of falls in and follows them. And Tom says, Tom, I don't remember all the conversations, but I remember this one specifically because I thought it was stupid. Tom, I thought it was smart and stupid. Dylan, Tom, and Rob are talking. Dylan and Rob are talking about how Derek mentioned Brittany. And then Tom says, well, I'm not going to lie, Rob. The evidence against you is pretty solid as well. And Dylan, I know you haven't lied, and I haven't lied. But Rob, I
Have
don't know.
you
I feel
lied?
like, have you lied? And so Rob is kind of like, I don't know where this is coming from. No, I'm not a liar. No, I'm not a traitor. I'm a faithful. And I'm going to go outside and get some fresh air.
Oh yeah, I do remember that because then after that he goes in the room with Dolores and she tells Rob, "Sell me, convince me."
I don't remember that one. I
Yeah,
missed
she
that
told
one.
him, "Convince me, you're not a traitor.
Convince me. Did
Convince
he
me."
do it? I'm sure he did.
I mean, a little. He did his normal will and deal,
Mm.
or whatever. Because when he left the room is when Tom was telling Dylan, like, "Dude, you know that man's a traitor. Like, just think about it."
Yes.
Like,
If I
and
was Dylan, I would have been like, sir, you don't
Dylan's
tell a traitor
face
to his
is like,
face.
"Bro, I cannot vote out my hero. Like, this is killing me." And he says in his confessional, like, the evidence is pointing towards Rob, but he does not think he can do it. He just can't do it. And I understand that. There's just some in these games you come across times and people where you've seen that there's just some people who's like, there's just some people's name I cannot write down and I will not write their name down. So I get it. I probably, if I was ever given the chance, would never write Boston Rob's name down. That's the same way if Wendell or Bryce is, I'm on a show with Wendell or Bryce, I'm not writing their names down.
I'm sorry, Wendell Bryce, if you're a traitor and I'm a faithful,
You better take me all the way to the end. You better not murder me.
and I'm talking about with full knowledge that I know you're a traitor, you know I'm a faithful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell anybody, but you need to trust me because I trust you. And so help me if I feel like you crossing me once, if I hear anything, it's your
Out of
body.
there! Out of there! Get out of there! Get him out of
Okay,
there!
yeah. I don't know. It's a very very hard predicament to be in.
Yeah.
That Dylan is in, but you got to make that choice.
Well, they go to the round table, and I can't even remember
How it starts.
how
Dylan
it
starts it
starts.
off. I think. Dylan starts it off by bringing up the
Brittany.
conversation. Yes,
Yes.
the conversation with Derek from last night. He says that Derek points out two traitors,
Excuse me.
Rob and Brittany. Um, and Brittany defends herself. I'm not a faithful. I mean, I'm not a traitor. I'm 100% a faithful. If y'all vote me, then you're going to be having this exact same conversation tomorrow. It's going to be a repeat of last night. Come on,
Mhm.
y'all, wake it up. And Rob, Sam is like, Rob, I think you're a traitor, and you need to prove yourself. And Sierra's like, what does he need to explain? He don't got. He's been explaining himself all week. And Sam's like, I don't care. He's been explaining himself all week. He can do it again one more
He's
time
gonna explain himself tonight.
tonight if you want to stay in this
If
castle,
you want to
sir.
stay.
No shade. So he does, and he does very well. He deflects. Oh my God, you cannot keep him. Like, you cannot catch him off guard.
No,
He
he is
goes into that
always
round
ready.
table prepared. I
Yeah,
respect it. I really do.
he said in his confessional, he said he do his best work at the round table.
He does. He does.
Hmm.
He does.
Like
He be
his
convincing me he's not
best.
a traitor. And I watch the show. I'll be like, ooh. I'm like, ooh,
Damn.
maybe he's not. And I'm like, wait. Yeah, he is.
Yes, he
Yeah, he
is.
is. He is. Oh.
I be sitting here thinking like, I hope that one went over. Like, I hope that one went over. Not, oh, he's not a traitor. I'm convinced. Ooh, I
Mm,
hope that one went over. That was a good one. That was a
that
good
was a
one.
good one. He's very good at what he does.
Hmm.
Who did he deflect on this time, though?
Brittany.
On
He shot it
Brittany.
to Brittany. He
Yeah,
said Brittany.
yeah.
He does what he typically does. He name a group of people, and out of those group of people, Brittany, I don't know if you're faithful or not, but I know you're the only gamer that can come up with something so strategic. And she's not backing down though. She doesn't back.
She's
You
not.
gotta respect her gameplay because she does not back down. She does not
Hmm.
back down.
Because
Gotta.
she's a faithful.
She is
I
a faith.
mean, she can't. But what's crazy is she's not. She is accusing, but it's like, y'all, I'm a faithful. Where Rob accused Bob, and Bob was immediately like, "Oh, I'm a traitor. Well, maybe you're a traitor."
Hmm.
Brittany's like, "I'm not a traitor. I'm 100% a faithful. I feel like you could be a traitor, and here's the reasons why. Like, all the evidence is against you, sir. It's not me. The evidence is against you, not me." So I feel like her case was much better, than Bob's case,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons, of course, though.
Well, the votes go, and
The,
what? What else happened?
no, 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 no. The
Oh, okay.
votes kind of irritated me, but they didn't fully irritate me because it went well. But there were a couple of them that were throwaways, and it's like, why are you doing a throwaway when you have all of this
Evidence.
evidence?
Yeah.
What is the throwaway going to do at this point?
Yeah. Well, so you have Dolores votes for Tom, which is not a shock. She voted for Tom last episode, and this time she just don't even care if he's faithful or a traitor. She wants him gone.
Yeah, that's well. That just I thought that was a throwaway too.
Hmm.
But she just I thought that was a throwaway too. But I guess she's just against Tom
Yeah.
fully,
She
which
went
is like,
against
girl,
Tom. Sierra goes against. Sierra votes Brittany. Rob votes Brittany, of course.
Dylan.
Dylan votes for Gabby, even though he said he knows she's a faithful, but he votes for Gabby. That's the
That
one that pissed me
irritated
off.
me.
I kind of
That
wish he would
irritated
have
me.
just did Tom instead of Brittany, but I'm sure because but he's close with Tom, so of course he wouldn't write Tom's name down. But to throw it on Gabby was kind of like, ooh.
And
I
maybe
guess
it's
he felt
because he
like
knew
maybe
nobody was gonna vote for her. So he. But again,
yeah,
what good
I
is
was
a
gonna say that.
throwaway like right now? Like, if I don't know. Maybe Dylan just in his heart of hearts was just, I can't get rid of Rob. Get rid of him. Okay, the odds are stacked against him. Like, just do away with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, so somebody else voted for Tom. I can't remember who voted for Tom. And Brittany got 2 votes. Ultimately, let me see. I wrote it down. Hold on, y'all. With 7 votes for Rob, 2 votes for Brittany, 2 votes for Tom, and then the 1 vote for Gabby from Dylan. Boston Rob goes up there and he says, I had so much fun playing with you guys. I'm so happy I got to meet all you guys. From day one, I have and always have been a traitor. And they are so excited. Dylan's heart is crushed. Dylan's heart is crushed. And Alan comes out and let them know that the traitors are doing their murder in plain sight, so that you know, and it's like,
They
what,
can't even. They can't even celebrate for real.
they can't even celebrate for real because they don't even know what's what. But what I did peep is that while everybody was still down having their conversations, all of the people that were shortlisted for murder all went up the stairs one by one. So I guess they went back upstairs and put their actual outfits back
Mm,
on or whatever, and then came back down.
had to wash them
And
from
they
all the
yeah, and they
blood.
called them down one by one to do their scene, to
Mm,
do the scenes or whatever. So I'm sure that was I bet you that was a 16, 18 hour film day. I
yeah.
I want to make sure I pay attention to all of those people that had to stay up body language on the next episode to see if they're like bounce back or if they are like dragging through the fucking house. Because I know that was a long ass production day.
Okay. For
There was,
sure.
they already said it'd be 12, 14 hour days already in general. So just imagine for that setup, that shit was long.
Because when they wake up, they go to breakfast, and then they go to the challenge, and then they come back, and then they eat, and they got to do a round table, and then after the round table, they chill, and they got to get ready for bed. So
Not to
this is
mention,
going
they
through the
have to
entire
get
day.
transferred. They have to get driven to the castle. The ladies do hair and makeup, wardrobe, whatever the theme is for the day. The ladies get hair and makeup for those that do the whole hair
Mm,
and makeup. So think they starting at 6 in the morning. Then they actually eat breakfast wherever they're going to eat breakfast at. And then while they're at the castle, they go upstairs. They're sequestered and basically by themselves. Sometimes really by themselves. They get called down for breakfast in groups. Um,
right. Yeah,
it's
these days are long.
Yeah, so you
Um,
just imagine they probably don't even get out there to the challenges till about 1 o'clock. And with that setup, it'd be damn near it'd be dark when they come back.
no,
So
literally, they be out there
it
for.
really be like midnight, past midnight. It'd be that black of night when the traders, if you notice, when the traders are walking to the turret. So, anywho, that was just our little tangent about that. So Carolyn and Danielle have to go into the turret before the whole ceremony as well, which is another reason why I know this was a long production day because they also had to make time for Danielle and Carolyn to go in the turret and discuss. And I'm sure that was an hour.
You think so?
I'm sure they sat in there and argued for a damn hour.
Nah, Did they argue? I thought that they were kind of on.
They were trying to figure some things out, or whatever. Danielle was like, I got you, going forward, I got you. And
And she was like,
Carolyn's
"You
was
got
like, not
Brittany."
more than Brittany. She was like, no, I got you. She's like, she was finna give herself away and say, I got you because I ain't got no other choice. But she stopped herself. It was like, no, I got you. I got you.
She
Carolyn
said,
is
"I
not
have
buying
to."
this.
She's like, "I got you because I have to." I said, "Ha!"
Like, duh. You don't
Yeah.
think I can read in between the lines here? Like, you're thinking I'm dumber than what I am based off of my facial expressions and me
Hmm.
acting like I am kooky. This is just her natural personality. She actually dialed it back. Did you look at the video that I sent you
No, I
on
didn't.
Carolyn? I wanted you to look at it specifically so you could see the different and many facial expressions of Carolyn and how she just be acting in general.
I'm screaming. I'm gonna watch it. I just don't have time today. But I mean, I've seen. I see. I mean, clearly watching the show.
You
She
silly.
has a lot. When she coming to she coming to breakfast, she be out of breath every time. She be like, "Good morning, good morning, guys."
Right, like she done just ran a marathon.
And then when they figure out who dead, who coming, she like,
Knowing damn well she just murdered that person. Knowing damn well you just wrote your name in ink, ma'am.
"Oh my goodness, she's the one that signed the paper, the confirmation." Yeah. So I mean, the more I watch Carolyn in this show, the more I live for her.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. She is. by far the best trader this season, hands down.
By
I mean,
far
now
the
Rob
best
was a
trader.
good trader
But Rob was
considering
a
the fact
butt
that,
because he got rid of Bob.
I mean, yeah, but
Rob was a butt because he got rid of Bob. Bob should have never been.
I
Bob
think
should
he
have
did
never been
good
banished.
to make it to episode 7, considering he came in with such a big target on his back.
Such a big target.
Um, Anywho, we leave off on a cliffhanger. We do not know who they're going to murder. They didn't even really give options. It's not really that many options, so they didn't necessarily go through
Who
that
you think
whole
is gonna be?
process of, you know, narrowing it down or anything. So we leave off on a cliffhanger. We do not know who is going to get murdered.
Who you think is gonna be?
Dolores
Really? I think it might be Tom.
or Tom.
I'm going with Tom. I think it might be Tom.
I think if they do Dolores, they can flip it on Dylan or Tom. They can flip it on the men because it would be like, well, why would we get rid of Dolores? I think it would be a good murder because, you know, at some point people got to start figuring out it's a female traitor in the bunch. Like, start narrowing down a few of the females too.
We had
People
a queer trader, a man trader, so it has to
has to come on just by sheer you know,
that is
just the will of
hilarious.
the game, nature of the game. It has to be a woman in the turd. So y'all are not looking at any women. So I would have killed another woman.
They're looking at Brittany, but she's just the wrong
I
one.
think at this point, I don't think Brittany is an option because, well, Brittany has a shield, but I don't think Brittany is an option for Danielle because they
Oh, you talking
possibly
about
could
murdering?
recruit for the murder.
Okay,
Well, you
okay.
asked me who do I think is getting murdered. Brittany
No,
was an
I
option.
thought you were talking about like who the faithfuls think that a traitor could be.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
Brittany's going to have an uphill battle. Brittany, I think Brittany's name is going to come back up again. I think Brittany's going forward. Brittany's name is going to come up again. I think Danielle's name is going to come up again, and I think they possibly may one of the men. They're going to start looking at one of the men again too.
mm,
I just hope it's not Dylan. I hope it's not Dylan because if they lose Dylan, I think for sure Carolyn skates all the way to the end.
you think Dylan's on the Carolyn?
Yeah.
Mm.
He's good with all of them, but I think he has his suspicions about Danielle, and if the numbers are going that way, he'll go against Danielle. I think he'll defend Carolyn to the end.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. I think he'll defend Carolyn to the end.
I thought you were saying that he's on to Carolyn as in like as she's a traitor.
No,
I
no,
see,
no,
I
no,
see, I
no.
see.
Nobody's on to Carolyn as a traitor. Literally nobody. Not even the people that Danielle told that Carolyn was possibly a traitor was listening to
Mm.
her. So I don't know. All I know is the Traitors season 3 has been bringing it. Do you hear me? Like, let me bring a little drag race into this, Miss Piggy. Like we've been a piggy because we've
Piggy
been
of the
eating it up.
week.
Yes, yes, we've been eating it up. Do you hear me?
Okay.
I am going to give episodes 6 and 7. Although I think episode 6 was by far the best episode of this season, I'm going to give both episodes an A plus plus.
You think that last episode was better than this one?
Absolutely, the way Wes left that house, nothing tops it. That was a good episode. Seeing Wes and Rob go against each other and Derek, I just that was good. Them
It
going,
was good.
the Traitors going at it at the turn. We got them going at it in the turn at the beginning of the episode. We got them going head to head at the end of the episode. We got Wes snapping on people. We got Derek versus Rob, Rob versus Wes. Like I don't think TV
And Carolyn versus Danielle.
and Carolyn went at Danielle. Like at the round table and in the turret, I don't think anything can come close to that.
I actually that's a very solid point. That's a very solid point. I do give both an A plus, but I do think that I liked episode 7 a little bit better, just because it always feels good to watch them be right and
You're
get
the
a
traitor.
traitor out. After they've been wrong for so long, and it was Rob. It feels like the traitor of traitors, in all honesty.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just really liked this episode. I also thought the challenge was it kept me intrigued as much as I hate
The
insects and
challenges
bugs.
don't hear.
The challenge was very good. And again, the outfits were amazing. Like these were the best outfits I've seen. Alan looked
And then
freaking specifically
the challenge on this episode was good. So yeah. Well, I mean, episode 7 was, they are both good. However, episode 6 just gave you so much. It
that
was like
edge.
every scene, it was boom, 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 what's gonna happen? Like you just did not know. And then it's like even after they got a traitor, it's like, okay, who, all right. And then you go back into the turret and now they're still going back at each other, you know. So that's why, that's my opinion. So I'm for episode 6, you're for episode 7. Hey, it's cool. um Let me see. Make sure you guys like this video. Okay. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not already. To all of our new subscribers, hi, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Drop down in the comments and talk to us. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how y'all feeling about Boston Rob being gone, man. Who we got? Who we got? What we got? What we thinking? What are our predictions for the rest of the season? Talk to us. We want to hear from you. And we're going to get out of here. I'm your girl, Shay.
I'm your boy Malik.
And we will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.